Welcome to WattStopper SegmentManager training. In this session, I will be going over SegmentManager CPU overloading and how to improve CPU performance. Let's begin by taking a look at the SegmentManager GUI. I'm going to log on to my IP address, which is 192.168.5.128, the SegmentManager IP address. We're going to log in using the username segman with a capital S and a capital M, a password of WattStopper, all lowercase. Now that we're logged in, you can select the wrench tab, and if it's not already selected, you can look at system information. Several options down on system information, you'll see the CPU usage. You can see on this one it's fairly low because I don't have very many devices on this SegmentManager, but on a large system with several devices, this number can get relatively high. If the CPU usage on this screen ever gets above 70% and stays there for long amounts of time, there are some changes that need to be made in the SegmentManager using Niagara AX Workbench. I want to take you through the steps of making those changes. First, let's minimize your browser. And now we're going to open up Niagara Workbench 3.7.106. Going to navigate to the station connection that's in your tree if it's there. This one, in my case, it's 192.168.5.128. Alternately, you can use the file menu, go to open, station, and enter the IP address. I'm going to use the username of admin, all lowercase, password of WattStopper, WattStopper, and then click OK. Next, we want to expand config, and then drivers, and BACnet network, then expand BACnet COM. I want to double click on network. So this is a list of all the available BACnet ports. In my case, I'm only using IP port number 2. This is where we're going to be making the changes. If you were using a LMSM-6E, you may be using MSTP ports 1, 2, and 3. So the changes we make on IP port 2 would need to be repeated for the 3 MSTP ports. In an IP router situation, we only need to do it on this one port. So let's take a look at that. I'm going to expand IP port 2 and then find poll service and expand it. There are 3 different polling speeds under the BACnet network. You've got a fast rate, a normal rate, and a slow rate. The default settings will be 1 second for fast rate, 5 seconds for normal rate, and 30 seconds for the slow rate. Most of the objects in any Niagara station are going to default to use the normal polling rate. You see here that 99% of the objects in this station are using the normal poll rate of 5 seconds. Normal count shows us 7, and then down here at the bottom you have a normal cycle time with an average of 7,852 milliseconds. So nearly 8 seconds to poll this network, which is a relatively small network. So essentially what we have is a poll rate of 5 seconds and a time to poll the network of nearly 8 seconds. So by changing these numbers up or down, we can actually increase or decrease CPU usage. So let's see how changing these polling rates actually affects the CPU usage of a segment manager. Let's open up a browser. Go back and look at our CPU usage. See, it's relatively low, somewhere around 9–10%. And 12% just changes back and forth, but it stays relatively low. I'll go back over here to this normal rate and say drop it down to 1 second and hit save. We're going to increase the polling rate. Immediately you see that the CPU usage jumps. Now it's already gone up to around 25–26%. It'll bounce back and forth to 32%. Bounces a lot, but it stays at a higher rate because we're polling for devices faster than it takes to receive the message from the devices. We're going to minimize the browser and change the normal rate from 1 second to 8 seconds. Hit save. 8 seconds is just above our normal cycle time, the average. Go back to the browser. I'm going to click on a different setting and then back to refresh this screen. Now you can see our percentage levels have dropped from the upper 20s and low 30s back to below 7 and roughly 12%. So increasing the normal poll rate will decrease CPU usage, while decreasing the normal poll rate will increase CPU usage. So in conclusion, the goal here is to keep the normal polling rate higher than the normal cycle time. The cycle time is going to adjust depending on your number of rooms, number of devices and points in a segment manager will fluctuate from job to job. So it's important to visit this and make adjustments as necessary to improve the overall CPU usage on the segment manager. Thank you for viewing the WattStopper SegmentManager CPU overloading training session.